Hello. Casey Wilson here, reporting live from my kitchen. We have called together a very special episode of our podcast. Though there be a global pandemic sweeping the nation, I have gathered here with two friends to discuss face-to-face Corona be goddamned. Love is blind. Please welcome my co-panelists, historians, podcast favorite, Deanna Cheng.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Most important night. And a gentleman who I love so much, a pop culture aficionado, a natur, really, of pop culture. Yeah. You work on all social media at Netflix.
I do.
And I'm so happy you're here. You know everything about everything, but you work specifically at the source, the scene of the crime.
It's true, yes. Reporting from inside the building.
Jarrett Wieselman.
Hello.
Hi.
I feel like in a weird way, we could have even done this in the pods. It would have been probably better for our sort of own hazmat needs.
Jarrett, thank you for bringing everything together. You're absolutely right.
Oh my God, you're right.
We should have met as friends in the pods and seen if we hit anything off.
Yeah, this is where you do a podcast from the pods for this podcast.
Absolutely.
Dang it. Where are those pods?
Jarrett?
They're in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
So all of season 1 was filmed in Atlanta.
So smart on the part of Netflix, because it's like all these people in The Bachelor, they're far flung. It's like, that's never going to work one day. Right. I want to say to the people on The Bachelor, go fuck yourselves.
Listen,
Get the fuck out of here with this 15 seconds of content spread over 9 years.
I've never watched a Bachelor. I have no interest in a Bachelor. And so that was why I was so surprised that this show captivated me. I often say that I'm not interested in watching heterosexual people find love.
Sure. Who is?
I mean, honestly. But these people, it turns out it's me. Just not that version of heterosexuality.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the Britney version, to bring in Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
The Bachelor Britney version.
Yes, absolutely. The girls who are like, my princess wedding. Like that's It's very that. It's very that. Whereas I feel like the Love is Blind people are maybe more like the Ariana Lalas of the Vanderpump, if we were to continue the metaphor.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. The Christianity that's like just bucketed over the franchise of Bachelor is a lot. And this, even though people talk about their religion and their beliefs and this and that, it's not the whole thing.
It's not
saturated.
Right. Yeah. No one's coming in as virgins is basically what we're saying.
Except for that one guy in the first episode.
Which we got rid of him really quickly. We were like, not interested. Don't go on The Bachelor with that.
They didn't even circle back to him to see when he was like, I haven't slept with anyone. They're like, get the fuck out of here.
There was a really funny tweet that was basically like,
I wanted them to do a glory hole in the pod.
Well, everyone keeps asking for the gay version. And I'm like, that's all this is. Like, that's all it would be. It would just be glory holes.
Wow. Can we expect that?
No, I highly doubt it, because I think
he said no.
I just don't think it would make our community look great, to be honest, because I don't think the reveals would be a positive experience for most of the contestants.
But isn't that something we want?
I mean,
here's what I don't want. I'm sorry to cut you off, but what I love about Love is Blind is that I would find it heartbreaking, and I'm not interested in seeing like a man open up a window and not like the way a woman looks. I'm not interested in that, and I'm so happy it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I wouldn't mind seeing it, and I don't know how it's different, but I'm sorry to say.
I get it. Listen, I get it.
Mean?
Because
like,
you know why?
Community.
Because you wouldn't like personalize that rejection, right? When you see like a man reject another man, you wouldn't be like, ugh, that could be me.
It won't trigger me. But
it's why I don't watch heterosexual people find love, because I'm like, I can't relate to that.
Right. Yeah.
But again, I can now.
Right. This was your way in.
This was my way into like caring about straight people, which is wonderful.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice. You know, it's nice to really like, they get a moment too. They deserve their time.
I think they've gotten a lot of moments.
I know, I'm just kidding.
This planet. Too many moments. Deanna, so Shira Casp Weiss, my sister-in-law, who is always on the cusp. I mean, she had this at the jump. I mean, at the jump. I didn't hear one human talking about it. And she called us
on it
screaming.
Before her. Shockingly. I don't mean to say this here. Now, it was only about an hour before her. It was about an hour.
Okay.
But it was still before. Her friend Dana was on a text with Shira and I, and she said, I'm watching Love is Blind. I'm so deep into it. I'm obsessed. I go, literally, it's in front of me right now. Shira, you got to get over there. And she did. Now, she took it. When she knows reality, she knows a gem. Like, she knew the second her eyeballs got on it. She goes, this is the best. Like, she can catalog.
She called me screaming.
She goes, this is the best show I've ever seen. She had like I don't think she had 5 minutes under her belt. And she was like, it's the best show I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Everyone needs to get on it. And she's sending like alarms out. Alarms. Yeah.
Honestly, I've gotten more alarming texts from her about Love is Blind than I have from family members about CV.
Yes.
Now I have to tell one CV aside.
Please.
So Claire Mukherjee, my beloved old stylist, because she's taking care of family right now, and she is on a text chain with me and my friend Jessie Klein, and we were texting, I thought, about coronavirus. Should we take our children out of school? The usual things. And I said, do you think, this was like a week and a half ago, I was like, should I not go to the Staples Center for a game because of CV? Claire, a stylist, read that as Claire Vivier, the bag woman who makes bags. And she goes, the fanny packs. She's like, yeah. She goes, the leopard print ones are a bit much. Like, okay.
Damn. Slam.
Yeah, Sam, coronavirus.
I like that. We see things from our perspective, right?
We're all here tonight, just to be totally honest. You know, I don't know if we're in the thick of it, if we're at the start of it, but things feel
heightened.
Not great.
Yeah.
A woman today wrote on my page, because I'm on Watch What Happens Live tonight. So if you're listening, I just posted a photo of Dolores and I on the show together. And I just said, hey, here's Dolores and I. Like, I know it's the end of days, but like, here's Dolores and I. And someone's like, I wish celebrities would stop fucking making this a bigger deal than it is. And I said, thank you for calling me celebrity. But like, it does seem every minute like, with all due, we've just received word that Tom Hanks has coronavirus.
Yeah, there was, I think Whitney Cummings said something like, it's like coronavirus went after our best to prove a point.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
like the most beloved man we have.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm worried about him and Rita because they are of an age that's not comfortable for corona. You know, they're not elderly.
It's not corona light. I'm sorry, it made no sense.
No, but I wanted it anyway. No, it's just like they'll probably be fine, but I don't love it.
Well, the fact that they were in Australia is the only reason they could have even been tested, because had they been in the United States, they wouldn't have like passed whatever like hurdles you have to get through in order to be tested.
I was told today, again, it was by my dentist, but she said she just spoke with a doctor who said Los Angeles has 500 tests. That's it. Is that accurate?
Shira Kasp-Weiss has also gotten herself to some tests. She's like, I know where some tests are. I'm like, where? She's like, never mind that.
Yeah, she's not clearly giving you any.
Yeah, I don't see any tests coming.
Like, she knows they're limited supply.
I've got reality recommendations. I do not have tests coming. Yeah. All jokes aside, Tom and Rita.
I don't love it. Yeah. I don't love it.
These are wild, wild days. But here we are. And I hope if you're wherever you are, if you're kind of doing social distancing, as they call it, which is my greatest phrase I've ever heard, or if you're quarantined, whatever, you're working from home, I hope you enjoy this, because we did feel we wanted to give this to you as a love letter during these times.
Absolutely.
Let's start at the beginning of Love is Blind.
Oh, great.
Let's do it.
We're introduced to a gaggle of gals and guys that I found like the more normal people than I've ever seen on reality.
It started that way for sure. I think.
Oh, yeah. It didn't finish that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I was sort of like that. I was kind of like, oh, are we going to really get into the dirt, with these people? Yes.
Yes. And there will be spoilers ahead. I'm just going to throw that out.
Yeah, the whole
spoilers
thing,
will
top
abound.
To bottom. Well, I'll say this, so a lot of times at Netflix, what'll happen is there are two kinds of shows that get a lot of attention internally. There are shows that are just huge shows that everyone is excited about. It has a big star on it. Right. It's a big IP. It's like a Stranger Things. It's a Dead to Me. It's a Russian Doll. It's When They See Us, like things that are just have people attached to them that you're thrilled about. Yeah.
Creators, actors, whatever.
Exactly. And then there are shows that people just watch on preview, because we have this thing called content preview where we can watch all the stuff like on our Netflix in advance.
Can Shira grab that password?
I'll just, Shira Housewife able to?
Yeah, tell me somewhere.
She'll trade you for a test.
So we can watch things on events. We can watch things on Pix. And people started to watch this one because a sizzle came out. A sizzle, I mean, I think everyone who's listened to this knows what a sizzle is. They seem like hip people, but just in case. It's sort of just it's almost like a super trailer for a show that's never going to be seen outside the world.
Yeah. Okay.
And there was a sizzle made for Love is Blind that was 5 minutes long that we were watching on a loop in the office for 5 days.
Oh,
and every time we would be like, we would grab someone else and say, you have to come watch this. Like, then it was basically, it showed the pods and it showed Mexico and then it showed the fleeing bride and then that was it. So like, you just got like,
it showed Milady, Gia Milady.
We'll
get into Milady.
And so,
Milady.
So then we all started watching it and we could not stop talking about it.
And so did Netflix at that time know what they had on their hands? Why did it take 2 years to come out?
I don't have an answer for that because like the content side of things is a bit of a mystery to me when I'm not sort of the point person on a title from concept. I came into this one late because this was a title that came to us, I think, a little bit late. Like, I don't know if it was made and we bought it or they made it for us. It feels like a little like off-brand and then someone got it to someone and it just landed like janky as hell in our hands, but ended up being perfect. Yeah. And so we all start watching, we all start talking about it, and the more people talk about something inside the walls, the more attention it starts to get. And it's sort of one of those things where it's like it's like a self-feeding kind of energy. And by the time we were 3 weeks out, we were like, this show is either going to die on the vine or be the biggest thing that we've had in a long time. And
I have chills.
I do too. I literally do.
And we all felt it would be the latter. I mean, we all felt it was going to really hit just that Bachelor audience, because although I don't watch it, I know everyone hates this season.
Yeah.
And so we kind of felt like it could be a good version of a show that audience would like versus whatever that Peter person has been doing.
And what I love about it is that we're not just following, and I know on The Bachelor there's like a bunch of women and one guy, but in this we're following 5 different relationships. Yeah. Right. And apparently 2 that weren't worthy. They said they didn't have enough time to fill them or infrastructure to film them.
I think I don't have the info on that. I would just say if that were true, it's probably because they weren't ready for prime time.
Ready for prime time.
Potentially. I mean, because let's be real. Kelly and Kenny feel like they could have been also maybe left on the cutting room floor. Like
I have feelings about Kelly that will shock.
I mean, I thought these 2 blobs of mayonnaise are not going to do anything for me until we got to their families. Yes. And that's when I started to look alive.
Well, they didn't even introduce them until we were in Mexico.
Yeah, they're like, by the way, here's Kelly and Kenny. I was like,
Like, they didn't even show them in the pods one time. And then we get to Mexico and they're like, here's a couple. Let's do 5 minutes recapping their experience falling in love.
Oh, interesting.
They were like, hi. Nice to meet you. Yeah. I have an anger towards Kelly that's unbridled.
But let me ask you a question. Did you have that anger towards her before the reunion?
Absolutely.
Okay, tell me. Because I felt like people turned on her.
My husband was like, what's happening between you and Kelly? I was like, you're on TV. Get it together. I'm like, Kenny's the best thing that'll ever happen to you. I'm like, and this fucking bitch is sitting there going, I'm not attracted to Kenny. Like, I felt feelings. And I know if you're all listening, you're like, that's so mean. Casey, what's happening? Something was like,
something was coming up.
Triggering me with Kelly. And this notion that Kenny wasn't this great guy, because I'm like, I'm all about Kenny.
Yeah.
Sure. Well,
and then she knew it at the reunion.
Which was hard for everybody.
Really hard.
You could tell. I actually felt like I saw some regret there. I felt like she was kind of, and he came in real hot and was like, well, I'm in a happy relationship.
I was into it.
That's why I think she was crying, because I think she was like, oh, I thought this was going to be our moment to like rekindle.
I just think Kelly's got something going on.
Well, her family was like, you've truly the worst taste. They were like, you cannot not choose this man. Right. Like, he's right. Every other mofo you brought is very wrong. You're looking at abs at this time in your life. You're looking for
had a good body.
Abs. I'd like to get some eyes on some of these other guys that she's acting like are so.
I didn't feel like Kelly really wanted to trade her for Kenny by the time all was said and done.
Kenny was looking like a bright, shiny penny. Honestly. And by the end, he was such a class act. He's like, and thank you so much, Kelly. Basically, like, your rejection of me really helped me get to where I am, which is with like a gorgeous woman.
I will say, I found it very unsettling the amount of time he spent sitting in that room after the rejection of the wedding, like just turning away from the camera. I was like, you can leave. Like, you don't have to be in this dressing room.
Kenny's a rule follower. That's why we love him.
I
know, but I found it very uncomfortable to just watch him sit and stew and drink that tiny bottle of water. I hated it so much.
I felt for him. I mean, he was doing his best to just keep himself sorted. You know?
He couldn't get sorted.
He could not.
And Kenny came out swinging after. He was just like, "Oh, I never thought I'd be marrying that woman." It was like pretty,
but it was
tough.
It was weird because I felt like leading up to maybe the episode before the wedding, they seemed like in perfect synchronicity. Yeah. Like they were like in love and they're having a good time and each other's family.
I love how we're like not even giving editing any credit. We're like, these seems like we're really in love.
Well, they're the type of mayonnaise type people that over communicate and articulate every single emotion and thought and feeling. And those are the people that I don't trust.
Yeah.
Because those are the people that aren't going to have a great sex life.
They never even had sex, right? Didn't they like abstain, which is always another red
conversation.
Flag.
Yeah, and maybe, look, there's a world in which there was not the amount of chemistry there that we feel should have been there. I mean, sometimes
when
it's
they were
not.
showering each other off at the beach, that was
I hated
tough.
that.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a little bit brother and sister.
Yeah, the whole show to me is, my husband was saying, it's different ways for people to basically say they're not attracted to someone. It's like, other guys that I dated before were a little more, I'm not sure that I would normally. He couldn't finish that sentence ever.
It was so interesting watching so many versions of dating, because I felt like, you saw like Kelly and Kenny be very like vanilla.
We've opened up out of the gate with Kelly and Kenny.
I know.
I feel like we're getting them out of the way. We're getting them out of the way.
for a long time, and I'm not ready to go anywhere else yet.
This is going to be a 6-part series.
Okay, this series is called Kelly and Kenny. Let's try to put Kelly and Kenny.
Okay. Kelly and Kenny Chronicles.
Over here. Put them over here. But yes, continue what you're saying.
Well, and then I think you saw something like, let's say, with Lauren and Cameron, who I think are to me.
Wow, we went from the bottom to the top. Now we're here.
Okay.
Well, because I feel like it's the least complicated of everyone who's left, right? To get into. Like Lauren and Cameron, to me, I felt like you were watching two people who actually felt a connection to one another, but were being very cautious about their own feelings and trying to not get ahead of themselves while also still trying to be in the moment, which I really understand, because I'm the person who, like that Taylor Swift song, it's like, I ruined it and it hasn't even happened yet.
Ouch.
Wow.
And I feel like that was them. They were like, I'm trying not to project where this relationship is going, but I'm also trying to be ready for that.
I thought Lauren was doing that.
Lauren, he was pretty in. Lauren was, though.
I mean,
Cam got in pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, you rapping for mom, like
close touches.
Yeah.
He always was giving her such a slow motion, gentle, close touch.
I needed him.
She's
to
like, I don't know
her...
if I want to marry you, and he's like, that's okay.
No, it was so. That's the only beef I had with him, was just like, can I breathe?
Yeah,
can I have a second?
Yeah, sure. Which I think she felt too. Like,
all the men were so sleepy.
Well, can I
wasn't a lot of like charisma on the male side.
Oh God, no. That's why we were like, Barnett is like our Brad Pitt.
I mean, like when you like really return to society, you were like, Barnett was the one we were like fighting over.
We were like, ow, ow, ow.
Can I throw a theory out about why the show is so successful in terms of the setup, which obviously works great, but I think that men in general, they are more visual than women are in general. It's a broad sweeping generalization, right?
Please. That's all we do here.
But fine. I think that's fair to say. And so when they got in the pods, it's like the first time the men have just used their ears and actually communicated, actually just had that genuine emotional connection. Right. So the guys felt so hard that it was a little uncomfortable to watch. Yes. Like I was like, you guys got to get it together.
Totally.
But they fell, and they're falling. If you turn the sound off, it would be like, okay, they have somebody in their family just died.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they're in love. You know, like they're just, their faces were red and they were, sorry about that, Diet Coke. But you know, they were just so emotionally there because
they'd set it up like therapy, which I think like a lot of times with therapy, you know, you make your therapist like who you want that person to be. It's like transference. And so having the wall there, it's like they're just getting exactly what they want to, or they, you know what I mean? They're projecting everything. And that's why I did think it was kind of an experiment. I mean, when those two pieces of wood that were hosting it set it up as an experiment. I was like, calm down.
Right.
And I always love when everyone kept being like, you know, back in the pods.
I'm
sorry. Best image of the whole thing was when Mark, who Matt McConkey calls his king.
I'm with Matt on this.
You stand with Mark.
No,
I do
like
too.
Mark?
Yeah. He's like a petite gentleman, but he just is so sweet and very handsome for
I
his
love
size.
Mark. But when Mark and Jessica decided in the midst midst of just the wreckage that was their courtship to go back to a pod-like state. No, to a pod-like state. And Mark was on the side of a wall with like rose petals, and he had like pillows propped up.
They were like, and we're back.
And that wreck was on the other
literally,
side.
they were like, oh, we recaptured
relief.
the magic. I was like, of not being together. Like, we're not like,
They're like, we found that spark again.
it's like, we did it. It's like, because you're not looking at each other and you're in different rooms and can't touch.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild.
Wild.
I will say, I mean, I don't know if we want to like really get into the pathology of Jessica in this moment, but
yeah, we're here.
I mean, that to me, the pathology of Jessica was very interesting to me because I felt like she thought she was being very sly and clever and crafty in, you know, talking to Barnett 1 minute and then also like kind of reacting to his rejection and then immediately running to Mark and then saying to Amber, I'm in love with my fiance. Like everything she was doing was so transparent and bald. And I don't think she thought anyone would notice that. Like she forgot the viewer was going to see all of those things when the person, only people were experiencing them were never seeing the other part of what she was doing.
Right. She forgot about us.
She forgot about us.
She forgot about us.
She forgot about us.
I mean, we have our eye on her.
Exactly.
You know, major.
Yeah. And I think that's why she got so screwed in the audience's eye and screwed over by the audience.
I feel bad for Jessica. I feel bad for, you know why? Because she thought she was like so awesome.
Yeah.
And it is just, clearly from the reunion, it's going to be the most, I mean, it was just such a rude awakening. And I mean, you're in this weird setup and she fell for two guys and it was complicated for her. I don't think that that's a normal situation, you know?
Sure.
And I think that she's another one who is 34 and is like really has, you know, she's in the first episode talking about her list and what she looks for in guys. It's this really short window and they need to be X, Y, and Z. And like, it's, you know, I think that messed with her head more than anything else with Mark.
I will say, I did feel like she talked so much about the age difference. She had talked so much that I did feel like she was maybe 45 and not 34.
I know.
It felt like she had lied about her age because she had made such a big deal. And I was like, this feels like
something else.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Yet she also acted 17.
Right. Can we
14?
Should we touch on the baby voice for a moment on Jessica? I mean,
that voice.
I found it to be.
It's one of the most upsetting voices I've ever heard. It actually inspired me, and I think I'm going to do this. I think I might go get some vocal coaching. I had it at NYU, but I can feel living in California and being around like it just going up an octave.
Yeah.
And Jessica, I thought that's the ghost of Christmas future. It's a cautionary tale, her voice. Ask yourself if you're listening to this, do I sound remotely like this?
Well, I know I do.
Oh.
You know. I mean, but, you know, maybe you're born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Like, I mean, what are we going to do?
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah, maybe it's Maybelline.
See, it works for you. You have a beautiful voice. You have nothing like...
Agreed. Because
it's not like Jessica's, but it's not...
Not Jessica.
Not like Jessica.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, it is.
Right. It's somewhere in there.
It's somewhere in there.
Sorry.
Hey, I'm comfortable with it. I'm not going to get some training. No.
Right.
She's a cautionary tale for all of us in that way. Yeah. I think her response to her own drinking was fascinating to me. So I felt like this, you know, in the reunion was very interesting because...
And I think Netflix next time, let's throw a little more money at that reunion.
Yeah. Was it all in the pods? Like, did they put all the money in the pods?
They literally draped some like sateen across like 4 chairs. They had people jangly placed. It's like, we need Andy Cohen. We need placement experts. We need sets. They couldn't get everyone in one frame. When everyone was raising hands, they had to do like pans.
Yeah. The top row was in darkness.
Like they were. And sorry, Jarrett, you don't even know.
I mean, this is feedback as a gift.
That's okay.
Like, this
I'll
is
take
just,
it and I'll bring it back.
And let me tell you, Jessica should never have been in the top row. It's like, let's get Diamond off the front row.
Well, let me tell you why that happened. A little behind the scenes tidbit that no one knows.
Okay.
Listening.
So we get there and there's a totally different seating order for the reunion.
Wait, were you at the reunion?
I was.
Shut up.
Yes.
You're like, I actually set dressed it.
No, but I was in the control. So basically for the team that I'm on.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
The show was such a big deal. And so
Yeah.
I knew I needed certain conversations to happen for my usage. Right. And so I flew to Atlanta to attend the reunion so I could be in the control room to make sure those things actually happened.
This is hot.
So, I mean, I will say like my favorite moment of the experience was literally screaming into a headset, go to camera 3, get it on Jessica because she's going to react to this story that Amber's telling. And I was just, and as soon as I did it, I was like, oh, I felt like that scene in Old School when Will Ferrell's like possessed and he's just like gives the answers like, what happened?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we get there.
To call a game like that.
Yeah,
you
beautiful.
It did feel a little bit like that. I don't know sports, but
again,
it felt
it's our
like
Super Bowl, that reunion. And
truly.
I did the only thing I wanted more out of the entire thing, and it's hard to say this to you because you were
that's okay.
a part of the reunion, but was the reunion. But I was thrilled to see them. It's also a gentle show. Like not everybody's going to be screaming at each other, if that makes sense.
That to me, you're talking about. I don't feel
in general, it doesn't have that mean spirit that all the other things we love.
But I also do feel like we could have gotten more of that if the hosts tried to get that.
Yes, they didn't push.
I feel like they had a very specific idea of what the reunion was going to be.
Yeah. Well, they're vanilla.
Yeah,
they are Kenny and Kelly, but successful.
Right.
Wow.
They're cake toppers.
Are they coming back?
Is the show coming back?
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, we
couldn't
know
say.
that.
Jarrett, come now. It's
say.
coming back.
Don't play games.
But so
like that.
originally, we get to the reunion, and the original seating arrangement on the left was Amber, Barnett, Jessica.
Yeah.
Amber,
And then
Barnett,
across from Jessica was Mark, Lauren, Cameron. And then the top was Carlton, how it was.
As God intended.
Right.
Yeah. As God intended.
We knew that it was going to be super duper important.
So it shall be.
So we knew it was going to be super duper important to not have Jessica and Amber and Barnett see each other before filming started, right? And so we had to keep them separate for like the hour they were all there getting hair and makeup.
But that didn't pay off all that. Jessica just like took it like a bitch from Amber.
It did seem like she had sort of like lines she was prepared to read. Like she
was on a Xanax.
And she might have been Vicky Gunvalson sending her right through that reunion.
Like she's been getting roasted online, toasted.
And
so
she
like
knew that.
She seemed like a woman defeated.
She was.
She was. I think she knew she had to come in there resign. She knew she had to come in there contrite. She knew she had to come in there and take whatever Amber was going to throw at her. And so we set them up and we put Amber and Barnett in. And meanwhile, we had been like actively keeping them apart all day. So like I was on Amber watch. So I was following Amber everywhere she went for an hour and a half.
That's a real Amber.
Truly. It was like getting following her around, like getting her mic, making sure like when she was near like the room Jessica was in, like Jessica didn't come out. It was very stressful. And so we seat everyone and then we bring out Jessica last. And it's while we're doing this that Amber realizes that Jessica's supposed to sit next to Barnett. And as Jessica's walking out, Amber stands up and says, she will not be sitting next to my husband if you want me to do this reunion.
Okay, but see, with love again, that's the moment we needed on film.
Yeah.
Trust me.
And I know if you were in charge of this, I know what you would do.
Yeah.
That you're capable of.
These are the instincts we need in place.
And I think that's actually why the Housewives, and look, they've had 10 plus years to perfect this.
And then they have
so
6
you guys
people
are just
to also
coming,
juggle, right?
100%. And now that's why I think they're backing it up even further. Like now we're in the dressing rooms. Pretty soon we're going to be like the night before. They're in bed.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to wake up. Angie Cohen's going to be like, wake up.
We go back further before they've ever filmed the shows. We are in it with them.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, and you've accepted that feedback beautifully. But let's move on. Okay, let's just talk about the phenomena that is Lauren.
Great.
I mean, obsessed. She's a gem.
Queen. So is Papa Speed is everything.
I love Papa Speed.
I cried during the reunion taping when Cameron was talking about how much he loved her father.
Yeah.
Of course, we all cried.
Sobbing. I was like an idiot. Yes. I was like looking around. I was like, is anyone else crying? Everyone else was crying.
And I know they've been doing like a media, is the word blitz?
Yeah.
But I do feel, and my friend Amanda's mom, Diane, who is very excited about this episode, has like alerted me every time.
Yeah.
That, like when Lauren's out and about.
And
she's like, Lauren's on Ellen. Lauren's on.
Yeah.
So we're keeping tabs on Lauren.
They're out.
But they're out and about.
Yeah.
And Cam's out in some bright
colors.
suits.
Some color.
Real suit
Not
colors.
every white man can wear color suits like that. And he is one that can.
And he's
making it happen.
Too. Like his height, I think, helps. He's real tall. They are a good looking couple. I'm loving him in all these colors.
I am too.
Although he did wear this one green suit that had like an elastic waistband that I couldn't really wrap my head around. around.
I saw that. That was a confusion.
You could see it was like elastic, and I couldn't really.
It's like they did. Their love seems quite real, and the fact that they've been together 2 years is also genius. Yeah. It's like I feel like a lot of these Bachelor shows are hot off the press. They're like it's been 27 days, and they're already broken up.
Right.
For them to have done a Christmas and a Thanksgiving and a blended family Thanksgiving with the dog, it was so beautiful.
Yeah, they definitely have a very sweet love. Like I would notice them during the reunion when like we were just like all waiting around. Like he would just be kind of like flittering with like her finger while no one was paying attention, and just like again the touching. I know he's a big toucher. I think he's just so excited.
Why was his house empty? Why was his house empty?
He was waiting for her.
I gotta tell you, all of their houses I found very upsetting.
Yeah, me too.
Michael Grassi, our friend, was an episode ahead of me, and he said, "Brace yourself for the homes." And I said, "Whatever do you mean?" And he said, "We're in Mexico now, but we're going to see people's linens."
Yeah, I mean,
and that's always hard.
I mean, Mark's brown sheets and Barnett's like chewed up wall hole. Like, what was that?
I know we left the reunion, but there is one thing I want to ask you about, and that is Barnett's jacket that he wore.
Came in wearing it. We had nothing to do with it.
Right. And what can you do?
Underneath was a nice black shirt. We couldn't do that.
I felt like that was the person he wanted to be that day.
Yeah. And he also wants to be like a Pokemon. What is that? You know when those people do cosplay?
Oh.
He and Amber do like Pokemon cosplay.
Wait,
no,
what?
Yeah, they are soulmates. That ex-tank commander.
Mechanic.
What was she? Ex-tank mechanic.
Wait, what do you mean Pokemon
I don't like
cosplay?
what you're
Look on their Instagram.
No,
yeah, okay.
I'm going to skip it.
They're
like
right there in the pocket with each other.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Amber, when we went home, however, to Amber's house, I fell in love. I was crying. I love Amber. I love her mother.
Yeah, the mom was sweet.
The mom was so sweet, and I really enjoyed going to her house.
I did too.
It made me actually like her more.
Yes,
like
I loved
seeing
her.
where she came from, like it all made sense.
Story.
I will say overall, I felt like the home visits were really interesting because you watched these people who had made what they totally understand to be an insane choice.
Yes.
Like no one was going to their family saying, "I'm engaged to someone."
It was more self-awareness than any of these shows.
Completely.
Yeah, true.
And you saw such genuine reactions from their families being like, "What the fuck are you fucking talking about?"
Kelly's mom was the mama Joyce, though.
Oh yeah. No, I actually think
thought that was
Milady's mom.
Okay, Milady is my favorite character.
Should we get into?
Okay, Gia, we got to just move it. Okay, Gia and Damien. Wow,
she is a
never
star. She to me is Lauren and Cameron are an amazing couple, but Giannina is a star.
Wow, never has a hairline cause more ruckus than Teresa's on Real Housewives as Damien's. What's happening in that hairline in the front? It's like a pointed triangle.
I don't look I don't look him straight on. I just take the essence in and I keep it moving. You know, like I don't need the details on him for whatever reason.
It's
a hit and run with your eyes.
Yeah. He's a lot of energy that radiates off of him, like in his presence too. He's got like a strong energy.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. She's a star. She's unwell. I mean, she's insane.
Well, but aren't most of our stars?
You're right. I don't know why I'm holding her to a different standard. all of a sudden,
look at all the housewives you love.
I go back and just apologize quickly to everyone what I said about Kelly and just know that's my own stuff. Okay, now with Gia, with that scene, the iconic scene of her with her hands behind her in the kitchen,
I know exactly.
looking straight away. I've never heard in all my time someone say something as bald as what she said. When she said, "You want to know why I never say when you say this is the best sex you've ever had? Do you want to know why I don't answer you?" It was so good.
It was haunting.
So crazy.
Her eyes.
But it got him back on her side. Like what was always very interesting to me was like every time I felt like she went too far, it was successful in fixing the relationship.
That's guys who like psychopaths.
Yeah. Can I read something now? These are not a direct quote, but it was just vibrations, and I wrote a few things down. "I took the bow off the box and I put it on my right hand. That was meant." Oh, I'm sorry.
Where are we?
Just give us a quick. Can you drop a pin in the episodes?
I started.
Give us a character and a setting.
Who, what, and where? Okay. The who is Damien. The what is his proposal.
Got it.
Okay. So these are just some musings.
Okay.
Empty box. My family in the box. You are the most important thing in my life. I put the bow on my hand. I am the gift. I am the gift. Will you marry me? Like, and she goes, and I say to you, Damien, will you get up off your knee and will you marry me? And I was like, what? These two are made for this drama, the dramatics, the bow on the wrist. You put the bow on yourself because you're the gift. And you had her go open a box that's empty.
And I feel we kind of let that slide. Yeah. And I appreciate you bringing it up. Because then when we start seeing David with Milady, we're like, oh, she's crazy. I call her Milady. And we're like, she's the crazy one. It's like, no, sweetie.
They're evenly matched.
They are
for
evenly
sure.
matched.
Yeah.
That kind of bummed me out about him, but he just clearly, I think, never had a woman that gorgeous. And so he's just...
I mean, she's beautiful.
Well, he didn't know that for the bow moment.
We didn't know that then, of course. Yeah. But... oh my God, it reminded me of the funniest moment when, who was it that said to Lauren, are you black? And she's like, no.
Someone we never saw again.
Yeah, he was
quickly excommunicated.
The best.
It was great. Well, that was like when Barnett said to Diamond, like, so where do you strip, when he heard her name.
Speaking of queens, like Diamond was she the best?
I will say they were all actually like excellent. Like they were all very nice.
Wow. I love Diamond.
Diamond,
I love her.
She handled
Diamond is my second favorite after Lauren.
Yeah. She handled that in a way I don't think I could have or would have. I don't think I would have been so composed in the moment to drop 2 Beyonce lyrics, like verbatim.
Yep. For her to collect her thoughts and come out with that. I thought she did a beautiful job. And I don't know, in the reunion of just like expressing how she felt, but separating it from like his life choices. It was more just like, this is what I felt about what happened to me.
Yeah.
And she was very gracious. Do you know? He shouldn't have brought the ring. It was very upsetting that he brought the ring. I would have liked him to just get on his knee and look her in the eye and say, I'm sorry. That like would have made me so happy. But then he went the extra step and made her put the ring on. And I was like, well, now you messed it up again.
The scream that I let out in the control room when he got up and pulled a ring out, I was like, he is not about to propose to her. I was like, this is not. Everyone was terrified.
Yeah.
There's a shot of Vanessa Leger who literally is sitting between them and she's just like a deer in headlights. She's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's not good.
Because I don't think she was ready to
I don't think she was ready to get in the
mud.
Right.
Yeah, Carlton. It was just I have a love for Carlton.
I do too. I feel for him. I want him in therapy ASAP.
Well, there's a lot of internalized things happening there. Also, the fact that he had been on Real Housewives of Atlanta gave me pause.
Yeah. It gives us all pause. Everybody's pause. I like how we're all like, we're fine if you're just on this reality show, but don't you dare have been on another one, because then you're a fucking weirdo.
Well, it's just like, but don't try to be a person here when you chose to go on a show that does not ask of you to be a human being at all. You know, like being on Real Housewives of Atlanta, it's very specific. And I feel like to be also a friend of a housewife means you are playing a role in a way that feels more artificial than what I'm looking for in this Love is Blind
in your Love is Blind.
Wow. And do you think that the casting people didn't know that he was on?
I'm sure they knew. I mean, I thought
the casting was beautiful on this.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job.
There's how many couples?
Here we are.
This is
now
crazy.
The best casting, and is a favorite character, Deanna. We've spoken about this gentleman that I don't feel like got enough airtime. A man named Rory, who was a consigliere in the beginning that was just chatting with everyone, like playing pool. He's like, "What do you think about it, man?" It's like, "Who are you, man?"
He was always like,
he's like, "Tell me what's going on, buddy."
Yeah, like, was
he a therapist? Was he like another person on the show?
Yeah, the only people they had were each other.
Right, that's all they had.
Yeah, that's all they had.
Yeah, there were some names like Kay, Lexi, Taylor, Ebony, Rory. These are people
that fell away.
They fell away.
They did.
And we let them fall. Other than maybe Rory.
Right. Rory remains in my head and heart. But
because he was getting into it with folks, but I have let him go.
I appreciated that of him.
Yeah.
Mark, let's touch on one more time.
Yes,
Where is
please.
Mark? I want the best for Mark.
I
love Mark's mom.
Loved
Love
oh my
all the
God.
moms.
The moms were great. Oh my God.
amazing.
Cam's mom, love.
Jeannie and his mom again being like, you shouldn't have said yes. Like, what were you thinking? As she's crying in her wedding dress that she fell down a hill in, I was
in the mud.
Exhilarated.
Exhilarated.
I was just, I mean, I will
lost
say.
my butterflies.
Oh, God.
That's like the equivalent of Vicky's love tank line. Like my husband, I've said it a million times. Just like, I lost somebody. Get to step in.
Yeah,
I also
Don't have
love,
them.
there was that fight that Janina and Damien had when his mom wouldn't come to the wedding and wouldn't come meet her, where they're in the car and she never stops putting on her mascara while they're screaming.
A lot of eyelash work.
That to me, a lot of eyelash work.
See, I also wanted to dig into that. Like, where are Damien's parents with this all now? Like,
I mean, I think they've come around. Question mark? I don't know.
Yeah.
I would.
I love how she's like, it's really fucked up. Your parents aren't coming here. It's like, it's insane.
It's
and they're
insane.
probably like normal people.
Yeah,
Right.
they're like, we don't want to get
They're like,
involved
we'd rather not.
catch us when it's over, but it's not over 2 years. Have they been together the whole 2 years?
They said, I don't know if it actually made it into the reunion, but they said they pretty much got back together right after production stopped because saying no made them realize how much they needed each other.
It seems like always like the wrong thing is good for them.
It's good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good for
They
them.
like that.
It's definitely, I did not expect it. I mean, I did not expect them to get back together. It was such a monumental, like awful breakup. I mean, awful.
Monumental.
Awful.
And a lot of helicopter dates, you know. And I felt like in Mexico, we were straining for locations. Or like, okay, Lauren and Cam, you will go sit behind this wicker chair in the woods, and you're good there.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like Lauren and Cam always got the like not great locations
Because they're like, they're in love already. They'll be fine. We have to send
Yeah.
Jessica and Mark into the middle of the jungle to have breakfast at a waterfall because we got to do anything to keep this spark alive.
Poor Jessica and Mark. Okay, oh God, I don't know. It was just so tough.
There's a shot that
Her trying to. Sorry, Jared.
No.
Just like the greatest scenes I've ever seen. Like the greatest scene marker of her trying to say like to Barnett, like, you know, like, no, I'm good. I'm like, you. Yeah. She's like, she's just like so different than me. Yeah. And like, that's cool that you like. I mean, because we couldn't be more different. It was great.
And you'd be different if you were with me.
Well, that to me was actually the wildest thing she said on the whole show was like, if Barnett was with me, you would see a better version of Barnett. I was like, that's some dark psychological stuff.
Well, I think that's where, you know, she thinks she's great. She marched into that experiment feeling like
on
the
top
bomb
of the world.
diggity.
Yes.
And then, you know, it is tough. We've all had to learn things about ourselves through these lives.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately for her, it was a real tight.
Well, right off the bat, like when Barnett was like, I don't feel for you, she was like, I'm devastated, Mark. Absolutely. She's like, I will marry you.
Yeah.
That was tough.
I just, like we were saying before, like watching her manipulate these four people or attempt to was some of the most harrowing hypnotic television I've ever watched. Like watching her play Barnett off Amber, off Mark, off herself, off the dog she's giving wine, was trippy.
Messica.
She did.
Truly.
Yeah, when she did kiss Amber at one point, you know.
And I got to give Amber credit. She has two lines that she said. One, she said, I will break your face. Mm-hmm. And the second was, I will destroy your life. Mm-hmm. And I like that even through all of that, Amber still said, I'm going to let you do whatever you want to me. But just so you know,
things will happen.
I will literally end you if you come for my husband.
I respect it.
And I respect the hell out of that.
As any ex-tank mechanic would, like.
Do you think she learned that in the field?
Amber has her brand and she stands behind it.
Yeah.
And to Barnett's credit, which I gave him no credit in the pods. I'm like, this is a straight up player. Yeah. He's not going to end up with any of these girls. He is
the same.
This is ridiculous that he's even doing this because his whole thing is being a player.
Yeah. We were all getting swept up with Barnett people.
I felt like I was in the pod. I felt like I was in the pod. Like I had no sense.
I was more a Cam. I was
more a Cam. You're a Cam?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I mean, I love Cam, but wow.
Okay. Oh, yeah. No. I think Cam is
He's such a crier.
Sexy.
I think he's very
former
sexy.
firefighter, current scientist.
Yeah, what's the problem?
You're right.
Cam's colorful
where
suit wearer.
Yeah.
But when Barnett, was outside of the pods and Jessica was coming at him and throwing her literal body at him, he never once, not one hair of a second, did he entertain her?
Yeah.
And I was like,
and it was so embarrassing. It was like, it just kind of seemed like you still like me or something. And she's like, what? She's like, because that's like so natural. I'm like so happy with Mark. This is like so crazy. And then he goes, okay, well, if you're saying it didn't happen, just kind of seemed like that. And he's like, but okay, cool.
He did seem to like really get her number at one point in the like it seemed like he was like under the spell and he didn't know what to do. And there was just one day he like it clicked for him. Yeah. And he was like, oh, I have her number. I cannot be near this person ever again. I'm picking Amber.
She's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he was right.
She was crazy. Yeah. I love Love is Blind, guys. Are there any parting final thoughts?
No,
I mean, we've barely gotten, we've barely scratched the surface as usual. Yeah. And I feel like this show will be with us for a long time. And I'm jealous of anyone who hasn't seen it. And I hope, again, spoilers have been spoiled. But it's really... we haven't even said the main thing. Danielle Schneider was going to do this with us. She's at my home currently, but she, because of work, had only gotten through half of it. And we were like, well, should you do it? And I was kind of asking her, like, do you want to do it? Meaning, like, I don't know, will people be upset they haven't seen all of it? And then Danielle goes, no, I'm going to put on headphones because I don't want to hear the spoilers.
That's right.
I've never seen Danielle turn away from a performance opportunity in her life. And she's sitting in the living room with headphones on so she doesn't hear.
She said, keep it quiet.
That's right.
Yeah.
She said, I don't want to hear a thing.
I do think, though, you played a part in that because she did call him Barrett and you said, don't do this podcast.
I said, nobody wants to hear Barrett.
I mean, if that's where you're at,
like, if that's where you're at,
you're not in the right
need to get
You're
deeper.
not welcome here.
Can we throw one thought onto Papa Speed before we go? Just because I was so delighted with him. I haven't recovered from his physicality having to meet Cam. Like, first of all, Lauren leaving him alone was amazing. I was like, oh no, she did not just like, that's amazing. Okay, great.
Full in the deep end.
And
I think she was also just like, I cannot be here with this moment.
True, but that's a lot to leave this new guy, and Papa Speed just like, he would take his glasses off and then sit up in his chair and then take in the information and then look at him and then put the glasses back on and readjust his body. And it was so physical, his attempt to understand what was happening.
And Cam was so steady.
Oh,
steady
was he
Cam.
ever? Steady Cam.
Steady Cam.
Well,
it was almost alarming and unnerving, his like psychopathic responses, even though it was very genuine and sweet.
You know what it was? I'll tell you. I think what it is that Cam was approaching that situation with the confidence of someone who, one, was very in love with Lauren. And so he felt very secure in that. And then two, as we saw during the reunion, has a huge penis.
Right.
So
I'm sorry.
Yes.
What? Did I miss that?
No. Well, maybe. Yes. I saw it later in someone's Twitter.
He was sitting legs akimbo from the entire reunion.
Red suit, a flail, or whatever he was wearing. Okay.
And there were certain things that you could tell. So I feel like Cam also...
Wait, was this mentioned or you're telling us this news?
A lot of people... It's been
is.
discussed on the internet quite extensely.
He was packing heat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was like a real BDE, I feel like he carries.
But it was like
with
an
him in
understated BDE.
That is BDE.
Right. It's the confidence.
Right.
It's the confidence of someone who has that going for them.
Nothing to prove.
In addition to, exactly.
Even to Papa Speed, like, hey, I got a big dick.
Like
Papa Speed, take it or leave it.
He's not asking Papa Speed to engage with his dick. He's just like, it is big.
Good.
And
Papa,
that's just Papa.
Big.
It's big. And so just... that's that as we continue,
That.
I mean, but Cam did a lot of good parent work. Think about what do you mean?
At the reunion?
From the control center?
I mean, he had pants on the whole time. Is that what you're asking?
But were you seeing outlines from the control center?
I saw so in the control room, I saw the way he was sitting and I was like, the camera angle was very like straight on in the bottom row. And they were like, should we tell him? Because it was very like man spreading.
Yes,
like that was the bigger concern.
Right.
Was that he was like
taking
very
up
like
a lot
wide,
of space with his madness.
And someone said like, should we tell him to stop sitting that way? I said, don't you dare. Let him sit the way he wants to sit, full well knowing. No, not full well knowing, but
hoping.
I mean, listen, we're always hoping.
Yeah,
but
always.
I think
we're always hoping the internet takes a liking.
We're always hoping for BD.
Listen, everyone always wants an Easter egg.
Sure, and that's a nice big one.
Jarrett, so it feels like You really did contribute something to this.
Listen, I feel like I'm here to help.
Jess away from Amber and away from Cam Stick. You kept everyone right where they should be.
I mean, I'm sorry we came in so hot on the reunion.
No, it's totally fine. Listen, you're not saying anything that I don't think anyone has already not said to me on the internet /
I think it's like an amazing TV show and people love it so much. And then when the finale is not like when the Sopranos finale came out. And maybe much like the Sopranos finale in 10 years, we'll sit back and look at it and go, you know what? That reunion was perfect. But until then, I can't say.
Here are my list of demands for next time.
It just felt
fair.
Can I throw a pitch out for the reunion? Okay, here, but I don't even think it's maybe right, but it was a thought I had in my head watching. I said to myself, I don't even know if everyone should be together. I wonder if we do the reunion.
Like couple reunions.
Like they do on 90 Day Fiancé. Will they like bring just the couple out and then they'll kind of get them all together?
Maybe something. Yeah, maybe it all together
I
at the very
wouldn't
end.
have minded like we're pulling up to a house. We don't know where we are. We speed up to the house door and open it. There's Lauren and Cam. Like, come in. It's Thanksgiving.
Like that.
Interesting.
Like a little something.
Yeah,
and then
time has passed.
And then we think we're going to Damien's. Knock, knock.
Giannina's
Damien seems sad.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, honey, get down here. And there's Milady. I don't know. These are just pitches.
Well, these are good ideas. We are.
You're like, we are
Netflix and we made a great show.
No. We have aggressively sort of like talked about like, do we return and see them in 6 months? Like, do we follow up with them? I mean,
of course.
I feel like, yes. The problem is, the only thing you have to take into account is that because of social media, a lot of times the reveals are not revealing because they're going to continue to live their lives. Like, so if Lauren and Cam get pregnant, if
maybe that's
Damien
the biggest
and
reveal we'll get about Damien and Gia. Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I mean, it does feel like there's probably like a wedding in the offing or an enormous breakup.
Would you put Diamond back on next season?
Great question.
We've talked a little bit about like giving second chances to some of the players from this season. And I think that if they're in their right mind, they would not return to do this again, would be my guess.
Diamond?
Once on a reality show, never not.
I mean,
I think she would do it.
I don't know, because we'd also said to give Jessica another chance.
I don't want Kelly back.
I don't think we need Kelly back. I mean, I think Diamond deserves a better...
I want you to find a great guy for her.
Yeah, me too.
But I do wonder, though, how many of them are being, bombarded by good people in their DMs.
We can't count on DMs.
And I don't know if we can count on good people.
Yeah, we can't. We definitely
That's a good
can't.
point. When am I talking about good people on the
Good
internet?
people
Guys, see, this is what happens. Talking about Lauren and Cameron has made me like wistful and believe in love.
I'd like Diamond back out there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
Guys, we got to wrap up here. Okay. This is, just a very special episode. Any final thoughts?
Well, I have prepared a performance of Cameron's rap. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, I was so thrilled.
I would
Deanna,
never.
I think the people would.
I know. I feel like you got to add it to your repertoire.
You know what? It's so funny that and it's so funny. Someone who is.
I'm so unprepared. Here we go.
I don't consider myself a rapper per se.
Wait, tell me the hook for your 90 Day.
Shoot.
Darling, I'm your 90 Day fiance. Darling, I'm the love of your life. Yeah, you can cook something up for us.
But I will
Can
say,
you cook something up for
I would like a Love Is
Blind?
Blind song.
Yeah, I mean, for next season.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be the theme song.
But as someone who has performed a rap publicly and recently
on this podcast,
I had to fast forward past his.
Sure,
I was like, I won't.
Yep.
and for Mama Speed to have to receive that, which she did beautifully.
Yeah, and I saw on the internet people were actually happy with it, but I couldn't do it.
I understand. I will say,
I felt Lauren should have been more upset by it.
But if you look, she's doing like really supportive, like dancing, like in the background. Like she's really, I know, but that's how I knew their love is real, because she even liked
she
that.
felt it.
And because I think Lauren in another situation, like if we had someone else do that, she'd be so upset.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it was upsetting.
I mean, it was not great. It was not great. And but is going to have a mixtape coming out in 2 weeks. So.
That's called for you.
I mean, to rap to your fiancés, both of their parents individually on camera is
BD.
the definition.
Right.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been wonderful.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone listening to this stays safe, first and foremost.
Yes.
And, if you're home, check out Love Is Blind. This has been delightful. Jarrett Wieselman. Where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram as Jarrett Says.
Oh, You're the best.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
you.
love all of your opinions on everything.
Oh, thanks,
and always
thanks,
have.
guys.
Deanna Cheng, where can we find you?
Deanna M. Cheng.
Deanna M. Cheng.
There I am.
There you
Here
are.
and there.
Thank you, Lyra. Poor Danielle sitting in her own pod in the other room. Like, why is she even here?
By the way,
she just likes you to be in your proximity.
Yeah.
I would do like a big fight and then get into pod work after with your husband. I would try it. Would you? Would you ever try like
sitting in the pod after a fight?
like just sort of like let's get into some rooms.
Yeah,
Do you just pull Mark and Jessica and just go on the opposite sides of a wall?
Yeah.
Right. It's like you don't need anything fancy.
No, you don't need like the full pod.
I'm just looking at our kitchen island. I'm like, I could just sit on one side and sit on the other.
Anything's really a pod.
Right. We can make a pod out of anything.
It's true.
Great.
Wow. Thank you guys. Talk to everyone soon. Stay safe.